Welcome to Life with Mary Walter. How are you? That is James Rabbit there, eating his dinner, I take it quickly. How is
Oh yeah. When I
everybody?
say I
Hi.
just made it, I mean I just made it.
I know,
Hi.
I know. He came running in and you were here and you were gone and so here you are. So welcome to Life with Mary Walter, my non-political there goes Oliver. My non-political podcast. Now it's a catless podcast. I am covered in cat hair. Um and he's the one I'm allergic to, so I may start sneezing. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. If you're new to the podcast, we're so happy you've joined us. This is a non political show. On Thursdays, we have a political podcast, same time you watch on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So I try to get them up right after the shows both nights. So tonight, I may go to bed a little early. We were up super early. I'll take thanks, of course, as always. To I'm gone. Up, I'm back. Okay.
Hi, back.
All the special, graphics for us, and his son Zach is a huge fan of the show. So we thank them, and also my friend Pete, who just sends me topic and topic and topic and topic. So it's great. So thank you to everybody. You guys are wonderful. Please subscribe to the channel. Oliver,
Huh.
is the camera like this? Is the camera moving?
No, you're good. You're
He's
safe.
uh, okay. There it goes. Okay, because he's taking a bath at the end of the table right now with vigor, so the camera's moving. But please, like the podcast. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. We would appreciate that. Okay. So James, how's the new job? I know you couldn't be with us on Thursday. I was in Florida, and I'll tell you about that. So I know
Can't
you've
wait.
been super busy with the new job. How is it?
Very. It is great. I actually really enjoy what I do, oddly enough. That I would go from
Great.
radio to cleaning toilets, but somehow find that more rewarding. That's what I find fascinating.
That says a lot about radio, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? I mean, in fairness, I cleaned toilets at the radio station because nobody else did. So I have some, experience in that. Because they fired the cleaning people where I was, so there was no toilet being cleaned. So I had some experience in that art, and yeah, I kind of find it endearing. I was just telling somebody, like, at least I have this sense of I'm keeping helpless elderly people, maybe with dementia or maybe just elderly in some cases, from living in squalor. It doesn't feel like such a bad gig.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah,
love old people. I just have a thing.
I,
Some people do, some people don't. I just totally get old people. I love them. I find them hilarious. Things that I think drive other people crazy, I just laugh at. I'm like, that's
totally.
hilarious. And they just don't care. They don't have two F's to give, and they don't. And they crack me up. But I also don't live with them, so there's that too, you know.
There's definitely that. Now it's two parts, of course. There's a medical and an over 55 community. It's the same thing, but I mean that's the two different sections. And in the independent living area, I met a Green Beret cleaning his apartment. How often do you
Now
get to
he
meet
was
Green Berets?
Wait, you cleaned his apartment or you met him while he was cleaning his apartment?
Nope. I clean. They don't do any cleaning. Look, if you're in that over 55 community, you are rich. Some of those people are like the Holmans of Holman Ford, like really people who have serious money live there. The biggest
Oh,
rooms are
okay.
like 11 grand a month. I mean, it's not cheap. So
I gotcha.
this
Okay.
gentleman, I was cleaning his apartment and I saw West Point. And I'm like, oh, West Point, that's amazing. I'm like, sir, did you serve in the Army? When did you serve? He goes, oh, I would serve 64 to 65 as a Green Beret, and then like as a company commander from the 173rd Airborne from 66 to
Wow.
whatever. I'm like, oh, crap, sir. So we had a really nice conversation. But you don't meet Green Berets very often, or people who admit that they did that. So yeah,
That's great. See, I wasn't sure. You keep calling it the nursing home, but it's
yeah,
really like one of those developments where it's 55 plus, and they're like those people are totally vibrant, and
yeah,
some of them still go to work,
yep,
55 plus. Some of them, not many people are in there are under the age of, I'd say, 70.
right.
Most of them are older, but they have from one that I've seen of those places because I looked at them for my husband's godparents.
Yeah.
They have parties. They have like floor parties. They have a couple restaurants on campus, as they call it. They have a bar. They had a bar, but it was they would have happy hour, but it was BYOB, which of course most people love because I can bring my own liquor. I don't have to pay overpriced for drinks, right? So
Right.
that's a win. And so I think that that's great. I realized where I thought it was something totally different than what it is. So
Yeah.
I
No, it's a over 55
cool.
period that has a medical ward. And then the medical section for when they age out, they need either more attention or a couple of the floors are
Right.
strictly dedicated to dementia. So, with one of the floors
Right.
being like the last stop, the second floor is the last stop. I mean, that's where generally, you know,
Well, it's one
you're
step closer to heaven.
correct. Thank you. I could not think of how to put that. And that's exactly right. That sure was it. But that's where I met some
It's
of the
one.
nicest people. So,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
they're
that's
sweet.
great. That is really, really nice. Well, I'm glad. Let's see who's here with us, shall we?
Yep.
Let's see. My buddy Pete gives us all topics. First one in. There he is at 7:09. Bill at the whole show tonight. I'll be here for the whole show um, on Thursday.
Yay.
And Tina, where's Al? That's a great question. I don't know where Al is. Al, I think, was in the process of moving to Florida, which is interesting
Yeah.
since we're going to talk about that. Um, and I know I've seen him on Truth Social, so I don't know what. It's a great question, Tina. I have no idea where Al is. So, anybody knows where Al is?
I'm betting
Let
moving.
us know. Oh, so my nose is itchy now because the cat that I'm allergic to was just like shedding all over me. So I apologize. I'm really not picking my nose. It's just super itchy.
I thought you were
So
going
if
to say
anybody knows where Al
allergies.
is,
Allergies are so bad. Aren't allergies bad this year?
I
I feel like I'm 90 talking
I don't
about
know.
allergies, but yeah.
I have to tell you, when we were in Florida, I thought it would be bad. Like I was prepared for bad allergies, because it's
Yeah.
totally different, different
Yeah.
plants, different everything. So I thought, oh, I'm going to be a mess. So I came loaded for bear. And I was shockingly fine. And I think that's because most people don't live in the elements in Florida. They live in the house or in the car or
Right.
or in a
And,
restaurant or here. They're never really outside. So when we were there last week, we left on Wednesday morning and got out of Newark. It was from the time the car dropped us off at Newark Airport to the time we got to the gate, it was 12 minutes.
right.
That's how well, we're TSA pre-check, so we go through really fast. There was
So smart.
no one in the TSA pre-check line. We walked right up. Here's my ID. Blah, 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 went through the line. Boom. And the gate was not. Usually, our gate is at as far away from far away from like TSA as you can possibly get.
Right.
This time it was not. Shockingly, it was not this time. Our gate was closer because usually we're all the way Terminal C, all the way at the end at Newark Airport, down by the
Right.
Dunkin' Donuts. That's where we usually are, but we were not this time. A little bit closer, so it was great. It was uneventful. Great flight down. And then and hubby surprised me because he said, I want to pay you back. I want to treat you for, because he has been studying for boards since January. So I've been doing
Right.
everything, which is fine. And I get it. It's no big deal. He doesn't have to pay me back. So he got us first class tickets.
Aw, that's a nice ride.
Yeah, it was nice. So, but we get on the plane, and of course, I didn't know, like, he pre-ordered meals and stuff. I'm like, oh, so fancy. And then they didn't load any of the pre-ordered meals on the plane. I don't know.
It's the effort, though. He put the effort in.
But yeah, so we had a choice between this egg thing and then these crepes with regat and blueberries, whatever. So I'm like, whatever, we'll take one of each. And then
Right.
so got down there. It was great. We our friends knew a guy who sometimes drives Uber, but also drives for himself, and he picked us up at the airport. No problem. Got to their place. All these places down in Florida now, if you go, so pretty much everybody goes to the East Coast, right? Like if you're from New York, New
Yeah.
Jersey, you're on the East Coast. And it's all Italians and Jews on the East Coast. Boca, Palm, all of those are all like that. That's like the New York, New Jersey demographic. So our
Right.
neighbors are on the East Coast, really far south, because apparently Naples is the hot place to live because it's very, very ritzy address. I had no idea. So Naples
Mhm.
proper has expanded to be North Naples, 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 and they just keep extending it. They just keep extending the name because everybody wants a Naples address. It's pretty funny.
I
So
like it.
so they're south. They're like in South Naples, and All these places now that are built, the place where they are is new, and they're not living there permanently. They bought it as an investment,
Ooh,
and they rent it out, but there's like all restrictions as to how many times a year you can rent it out and all this other stuff. But you drive into these places, James, it's insane. It's like you're driving into this insane lush resort with the long
ooh,
driveway and the palm trees and all the like tropical plants, because you're close to the tropics. You're right up against the edge of the Everglades as they keep encroaching on the Everglades and decimating the Everglades.
right.
But you're right there, right? So it's very tropical. And you drive in, you're like, oh my God, I had no idea that our neighbors were this rich, right? And you get in and they have, you got to get through the gate, and then you go and then they have little, it's all one big community, but then in the communities, each one has a different thing. Like there's Parrot Key, CAY. Some people say K, some people say Key. And then like each one, and the homes are different in each one. Some of them are 2 stories, some of them are one, different builders, I guess, however they do
Right.
it. So we get to their place, gorgeous, and everybody is on the water. Like, so there's water. So they pave over the Everglades and then they dig it out, and so they get the water back. And so everybody is on some kind of channel or a lake or something.
Oh,
And
awesome.
everybody has a lanai, and everybody has a pool and a hot tub in the back under in the lanai. And you walk in and you just walk in, and as soon as you walk in, you see it's big open concept, of course, only 1 story, super high ceilings. And what do you look out on? The porch, the hot tub, the pool, the lanai, and the pond or whatever it is. And you just walk in, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
That sounds awesome.
Right. It's unbelievable. Let's see here. Sherry's here. Everyone who watches this show should move to Florida. Move here to Florida. It's paradise. Tina, my allergies have been so bad. I'm also allergic to my mom's 15-pound cat, Mookie. Well, Mookie sounds like he needs a diet. So
He does.
I have never gotten the idea of moving to Florida. Oh, Survivor 999 over on Getter says, hello. He's here as well. Thank you for joining us. So I've never gotten the appeal of moving to Florida. So I really want your comments about moving to Florida. Because if you live in New Jersey, you hit a certain age, and every comment with every conversation with your friends eventually turns to, when are you getting out and where are you going? Right? Like everybody wants to get out of New Jersey because it's so stupid expensive. And where are you going to go? And everybody's going to Florida or the Carolinas. North Carolina, if I'm moving out of Jersey, I want to move to North Carolina because that's already kind of like purple, like the blue.
Yeah.
A lot of Democrats moving there, turning. I'm not going to get away from high taxes to move to another state that's going to have high taxes. So you look, okay, South Carolina. I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. I got to tell you, Georgia, Florida, none of that appeals to me. I'm a big fan of cold because even though I'm always cold, I can put more clothes on, but I can only take so much off before you're
Right.
socially inappropriate, right? So, so I figure
Right.
cold is better
Yeah,
because I can
totally.
always put more clothes on, right? But I have to
Right.
tell you, so we were there. We got there on what did I say? Thursday morning, and we
Okay.
were supposed to leave Sunday morning. Sunday super. Our flight was out 7 o'clock. The car guy picking us up at 4
Okay.
on Sunday
4.
morning, 4 a.m. because the flight's leaving at 7.
Well, I get it, but
Yeah, so maybe he's picking us up. Yeah, no, he was picking us up at 5. He was picking us up at
okay.
5
Still
and leaving at
cracking.
7. So Saturday night, we went to this place called Celebration Park, and on Saturday nights they have this big thing with food trucks, and there were maybe like 10 food trucks. Not one
Okay.
dessert food truck though, which really was insane to me. And they have a big bar, and they get a band, and they have picnic tables and everything. So we went there, and everything's expensive, but had a good fun dinner. And my phone goes off, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't even recognize this number. It's like 28995. Right? Like that's not even a phone number. And I look at it, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh. And I look at my husband like, did you get a text? Your phone go off? He goes, yeah. I guess mine went off too. I go look at it. Flight's canceled.
Oh,
Flight the next day is canceled.
just canceled.
Just canceled. So now Fort Lauderdale had flooded. I don't know if you saw the news. So Fort Lauderdale, the airport there was closed, I want to say Wednesday, Thursday, maybe into Friday.
Okay.
And then Newark got shut down on Saturday night from bad storms, and a lot of the flights couldn't get out, right?
Oh,
So the plane we were supposed to be on Sunday morning to go to Newark comes from Newark on Saturday night, couldn't get down, so we didn't have a flight back. So my husband and our friends, he flies all the time for business. So the two of them are on their phones trying to find flights, and they're like, "There's nothing. There's just nothing." We
wow.
could not get up. We were going to drive to Sarasota, could not get a plane out of Florida. Couldn't do it. So they canceled flights on. So our flight Sunday morning was canceled. They canceled flights on Monday as well because of weather. So we wound up getting out this morning. We were up at 3. The car was at the house at 4 because the flight was 6 a.m.
Oh,
I know. I'm exhausted. I'm like,
bet.
my husband said to me, because as soon as you're done, we're going to bed. I'm like, no argument, no argument. As soon as
Yeah,
this
right,
is
totally.
over, I'm going to bed. So we got 2 extra days in paradise, which is amazing and fun. And I felt so sorry for our friends. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, they didn't throw us out, which was great. And it was an okay
Right.
situation because we didn't have to pay for a hotel for extra days or anything along those lines. So it was really great. So that part of it worked out well. And now I had sent them a thank you gift already, ahead of time. It arrived
Right.
when we were there because we were still there. And now I feel like I have to send something else because they're really long. Sherry says, I love Florida because there's so much to do all year round and you don't have to leave the state. I got to tell you, Sherry, we were there in April. It was 90. It is,
Yeah.
I cannot imagine being there in July, August, September, June, July, August. I can't even imagine how miserably hot that is. That's the one thing, Ron says, my sister moved to Florida, lived there about a year. She's back living in New Jersey. Not her thing. Too many bugs, lizards, etc. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were going to say something?
I was going to say, I remember the plaintiff and I back in 2013 went to Savannah, Georgia around Christmas time. And then we had to go to Florida for, see the grandparents, that kind of thing. But I remember being in Savannah thinking, this is amazing. I love it. It's like 71. It's December 20th. I'm like, this place is heaven. And she goes, hey, what do you think the summer's going to be like? And that, like you said, that instant realization that it must be just the worst hellscape for a person who likes the cold weather in the summer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way I can do Florida or Georgia, any of those kind of way down there south, warm year-round places.
Too hot.
Only fun to visit.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Tina says, being up in an attic, it's hot. I can't imagine 90 all the time. What do you keep her in the attic?
No. Our apartment is essentially the attic.
I know.
They made an attic.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, I do like to keep her locked up though, so I do lock her up every day. So that's important.
I don't want to know. That's a little TMI. Scott over on Getter says the sand and the palm trees are beautiful, and the ocean. Yeah, we didn't see the ocean. They're on the Gulf side, and we could see the Gulf from what we did Saturday. We went kayaking in the Everglades through the mangroves.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a mangrove and manatee tour. So our friends had done this with other visitors. It's kind of like going to the Statue of Liberty when you live in New York or New Jersey. Like, you got to take everybody to the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty. It's nothing you would ever do any other day because you see it all the time and so you don't go.
Right.
So they take friends. They went with friends and they said, oh, it's great. We saw all these manatees. We saw alligators. It was crazy. There were alligators everywhere. I'm like, oh, cool. So we had been out for, we got there Friday night. I think it was Friday night. Her mother came over from Boca. It's her mom's birthday. And we went to the restaurant and the tiki bar in their club, because the whole place has a big club and it's got a gym and it's got a big pool and it's got like a beach and on this big lake. But you can't, it's a man-made beach, not actually, that doesn't go into the lake because there's alligators everywhere. So you can't do that. And so we're sitting at dinner, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, there's an alligator. And all you see, he had to be 8 feet long, but you just saw the snout and like the head, like, and he was going real slow, but it was far away. So not far, but I couldn't see, all I could see was like the outline of it. That's it. And that was the only alligator we saw the entire time we were there. That was it.
All I think about is that alligator that ate the baby at Disneyland. That sums up Florida.
Yes, yes. The dingo ate my
I mean, I
baby.
feel bad, and I don't want to make a joke out of that sense, but I mean,
Right.
I always think like alligators are real. Like, winding
Uh-huh.
up in Disneyland and attack the baby. I mean, it's really a thing.
Right. The prices are
Real
going to be
thing.
really. He also said the prices are really high at that time. Yeah, the prices are high. The prices for everything are high. And of course, when you're eating at the club's tiki bar, it was fiesta night. So you had a choice of like 3 or 4 different things that were Mexican. So we got tacos. 2 tacos were $14. 2, and they were
I
like 3-bite tacos were $14. It's like, wow.
We could do a whole topic on the prices at restaurants nowadays, and I don't blame restaurants because I know a little about what the costs are,
Right.
but
Yes.
I'm just saying that still, like, I mean, your average dinner at places I've seen is like $18 for a dinner in your average
Oh
restaurant
yeah.
now. It's about 14, $18.
5 of us with drinks and a dessert for her mom because it was her birthday. And the dessert was 2 little brownie bites with a scoop of ice cream. Okay. And the tacos, we got nachos for the table, and we got the tacos, and her mom got a Caesar salad. She got tacos. I forget, but 2 other was $160.
Oh, I
I
get it, but
know.
oh.
I know.
Yeah, my parents took us out to a really nice restaurant recently, and I saw those prices. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah. Tina,
Brutal.
Vegas is bad too. When I went to see Donnie, everything there was so expensive. Well, I think everything is always expensive in Vegas because it's a resort tourist trap, right? So everything is going to be
Right.
expensive there. Scott says, someone told me that there's an alligator for every single body of water down there in Florida. I would believe it. But so we go on this kayaking tour in the mangroves, and it's a little freaky. Like we kayak when we go up to Lake George and that kind of thing. But here you are, and going through the mangroves, like they have tunnels, like totally cool, right?
That's awesome.
Really, really cool. But you're really close to the water. I'm like, if there's an alligator, like it's gonna be right close.
Right.
But we did not see one stinking alligator or one manatee. So I
No
basically went kayak.
manatees?
No
Oh,
manatees, because you know what he tells us? They're really sensitive to temperature, and they were there in the morning, but they must have left because it got too hot during the day. So they go out to deeper water to be cooler.
they're sensitive.
So mad. I like manatees are so cute. Like I want to ride one. They're like little cows. Like they're this
Yeah.
like they're so cute and cuddly. I thought, oh, can I ride a manatee? It'd be so cool. But apparently you're not allowed to do that. And I wanted to see.
Yeah,
We didn't
we're
see
not.
one manatee, not one alligator, not even from afar. We kept seeing what they were calling bull sharks, and I was looking at it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we call that a sand shark in Jersey, right? Like, and
Yeah.
I've seen these before. I was like, all right, whatever. One of them was pretty big. It was like 4 feet, something like that. But
Bull sharks are big. They're not 4 feet. They're like 11, 12. They're pretty big. 8.
right, but these are smaller. These are babies, probably. They don't come out
Oh, well,
8,
that'd be
11
cute. Little
feet long.
baby bull
Yeah,
sharks.
yeah, I think that's what it is. Sherry says, I swim with alligators in the springs. They don't bother you if you're not their only source of food, like in retention ponds. Oh, hell no. No, no. She said, I'm more afraid of water moccasins. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the whole snake thing either. So, I'm worried about because now they have pythons down there and they have boa
Yeah, snakes.
constrictors because people release them who had them as pets release them, and they wound up getting out into the Everglades, right? Because that's where they release them, and then they don't have any natural predators. But our guide Ty was telling us that that's part of the problem, but the big problem it really exploded is when one of the hurricanes came through and one of the zoos had an herb, or what do they call them, herpetology thing with all the different kind of snakes from all over the place, and it got decimated, so they all got let loose, and
Oh,
they don't have any natural predators, so they're just replicating in the Everglades now because it's a perfect home for them. So they
that
tell you, like, if you see a huge snake across the highway, like a boa constrictor, like I don't know how you know what it is, or a python. I guess you know because they're huge. They want you to run over them. They're like, run over them,
that crazy.
kill them. That's what they want you to do. And they have hunts all the time. They have bounties where you can catch these things. And I'm like, No moss. Thank you very much. But people worry about their dogs, not just the alligators, but because of these snakes, because again, they don't have any natural predators, and everybody thought the alligators would kill them off. But they've opened up some of these huge snakes and found like 4 foot alligators in these snakes.
Yeah.
That is the stuff that my nightmares are made out of. I'm like, hell, and he's telling us this as we're sitting in the mangroves, and I'm like, oh hell no, dude. Nope, nope, nope. Don't want to see it. Don't. That's the one thing I don't want to see. I want to see the cute little manatee. Do not want to come face to face with the boa constrictor. Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. So
it's gotten so bad that between the alligators and the snakes, they've eradicated over 80% of the natural population of any other animal in the Everglades. They've taken out all the wildlife.
Yep.
It's just
There's
snakes
no
and
more
alligators.
no more raccoons anymore. Nothing.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's see. Tina, James calls me Steve Irwin because I'd be the one wrangling the alligators once.
She's
once.
She's immune to animal bites. She's that one that gets bit by any animal. It doesn't matter if it's a guinea pig, a snake, a lizard, whatever it is. It bites her, and she's like, "Oh, you're naughty. They bite me, I throw them." I mean, we're very different people.
Well, if an alligator bites you, you don't bring the arm back with you. So there's
No,
that.
that's a good point. No, that's true. We are talking alligators. Yeah, not lizards.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than a guinea pig bite. I'm just saying.
100%. But I could see Ringo losing a limb and still being like, well, that's just the alligator doing its thing.
Yeah, well, this is what they do. So I'm just, so bottom line is, and I was up until this point, I'm like, I don't understand. But I'm like, I could see how people do this. Like, I kind of get it. But I had to bear in mind, too, I'm on vacation. This was not my daily life. You're not there every day. So, and I also understand how people who are retired become alcoholics because they go to the tiki bar, their little golf carts, right? And they're partying up, man. They had 2 bocce courts, bocce ball courts. They've got tennis. They got pickleball. They have an entire racket club where they play pickleball and tennis, and they've got the big dog park over wherever, and so it's a very geared towards a nice resort lifestyle. And there are people with kids who live there. It's not a 55 plus or anything along those lines. So it's a really good mix of people. But the older people were partying hard. We went to the tiki bar one night. We had like 45. We were in the hot tub. We're like, we got 45 minutes. So we went to the tiki, and it was the oldsters who don't have to work the next day. They were having a grand old time. They were hilarious. Living there, they were just living their best life. And I was like, you know what? I kind of get the allure of this type of living. Like, I get it now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could do it just on my own and buy a house somewhere in Florida. I think I would have to go into like a big developed community where you have all those things to do, or else I think you could get bored really fast. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so bottom line is, I think I can understand it now. So this is a big revelation.
It sums it up. There's that song Margaritaville, and I got to give half this premise to a guy named Kyle Kinane, who's an amazing comedian. If you don't know Kyle Kinane, look him up. He's hilarious. But he has this theory about Margaritaville, which is written about, Jimmy Buffett's writing that about the Keys, right?
Right.
And, you can go there sad and drink your life away or whatever, right? He goes, but imagine now what Margaritaville really is. Like if Margaritaville is in Topeka, Kansas, and then go back and read those lyrics, and now that song is really pathetic and sad. Do you know the song Margaritaville?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Oh, I know it well.
Yeah, you're not in Key West anymore. You're in Topeka, Kansas, singing that song. It's so in a Margaritaville, in one of those Margaritavilles. It's not as fun. Very sad. Dark.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, but that's the premise of like you think about Florida. Like that song in my head really rings of like Florida living in my head. You know what I mean? That's the party life, the fun life. You're living on the beach, and even when you're sad, you're drinking your life away. It's all not so bad, But
until you realize it just means that you're an old
drink a margarita guy.
You're the old guy at the end of the bar who's everybody thinks is an alcoholic. Like that's where you wind up. Sherry says the best time to
Yeah,
see manatees is winter because they go to Blue Springs for the 72-degree weather. Yeah, well, we were there in April, didn't think it would be too hot for the manatees, but apparently it was.
that's
So,
great. That's too out for the manatees. Jesus.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's so sad. Yeah, it's crazy. I would have thought that at all.
I'm so excited for the
Manatees
manatees.
can't
It's
take the
so
heat either.
Yeah, I saw a lot of a lot of trees, a lot of mangroves. They're walking trees, which is pretty cool. They come out over the water and they grow a limb straight down and it goes straight down into the water. And then because it anchors itself on the bottom, the sand starts to get caught and they create their own islands. It's
That's crazy.
crazy. It is.
Yeah, it's
Mother
so
Nature's
nuts.
amazing. Yeah. Scott says
100%. Yeah.
a person has to watch if they're next to the shore where they because the alligators hide under the water. That's what happens. There was that older lady a couple months ago in Florida walking her dog, and that's the thing. You can't walk next to those retention basins or anything because you don't think there's anything there. And the alligator
Oof.
comes running up. It's looking at you, and it sees your dog, and it says, "Oh, look, an hors d'oeuvre," and it runs out of the water to get your dog, and then it carries and you're fighting for your dog, and it takes the both of them into the lake. It killed an old lady. It had her. It was like trying to get her under the water, and she went under. And that's what it does. It rolls you and rolls you and rolls you underwater, and you drown. That's what happens.
I follow a guy named Gator Chris who does all those kind of alligator shows, and they rescue nuisance alligators. That's what their big thing is. So he's got all these great names for these nuisance alligators, and people are constantly writing him, telling him like, "Oh, are they like your pets? It seems like Darth Vader loves you." And he's like, "These animals don't love me. I love them, but they will eat me in a heartbeat." He goes, "They're
Yeah.
well trained, right? They see the food. They're very food motivated." But he goes, if you watch them, he'll show you like they once in a while are thinking about taking a swipe at him, or they do take a swipe at him when they think they can get away with it. He's like, if I fell in the pool with these animals, all of these alligators would eat me in a minute. If I was defenseless, they would eat me in a heartbeat. It's only because they don't see me as food because I dominate them that he even gets away with it.
And they're literally dinosaurs.
Yeah, literally.
They're dinosaurs. Yeah. They survived. Yeah. They're the dinosaur that them and cockroaches. But sharks, I think, sharks also had prehistoric ancestors, right? So sharks are but because they're insane killer predators. Think about it. So I kept looking out the lanai. We didn't see any come out of the water at all onto their lawn or anything like that. But they don't walk the dogs even in the backyard because they're fast. Alligators are fast. They will get you. They can on land. Yeah. They can run fast, not for long distances, but they can run fast. You'd never believe it, but they can. And the other thing I kept looking for, was pythons in the trees and stuff because they can apparently climb trees. Which, oh my god! Again, the thing nightmares are made out of. We're going through the mangrove, and I'm just like,
totally.
like this, looking. Because I'm afraid one of them's gonna. And I say to my husband, I go, "What if one of them falls out of a tree and drops in the kayak?" He goes, "Well, we die." I was just like, "Oh my god!" I can't do it. Tina says alligators are calmer than crocodiles, but both will kill you. Yeah, one will just kill you calmly, and one will kill you a little bit more aggressively.
The good thing is alligators are more aggressive or more opportunist than they are aggressive. They're not necessarily very aggressive towards humans, but if they had an opportunity to eat you, they definitely would.
Oh yeah, and they, like I said, they love the small dogs. They love the small dogs.
They love little things. They're opportunists. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. They're like most criminals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Scott says, run zigzag if an alligator is after you. My feeling is all I have to do is be faster than my friend. If there's an alligator after me, that's all that's got to happen. I just got to be faster than the guy I'm with, in which case it's every man for himself. See ya. Love you. Goodbye.
Well, you need to take me to Florida then, because I can't run 3 steps and I'm just flying in the air and flat on the ground. I am definitely the bait for the predators. That's my gift to all of you. When we're anywhere, I'm bait for the predators. You guys run, and I'll just, get eaten.
That's hilarious. All right. Oh my gosh, look at the time. Wow. So anyway, so that was my big revelation from my vacation is that I could definitely do the Florida thing. I think I could. I would have to do it more often. Like I would, but the problem is if you buy something down, first of all the prices are insanely inflated. That's number one. But you'd have to rent it out in
Oof.
order to make any kind of money, right? You'd have to rent it out. And
Yeah.
then, so it doesn't really become a place you could really go live. Like our friends, they got someone coming in October who's renting it for a year with an option to go for another
Wow.
year. Yeah. And they're making sweet, sweet,
Oh, so they're not doing like
sweet, sweet
Airbnb.
cash. No, you can't do, they're
Yeah.
not allowed. Every community has different rules. Their community, you can't do Airbnb or VRBO, and you can't rent more than 3 times a year. But because it's a year-round rental, it's okay. Like if you have someone who's in, they just don't want people in and out, in and out, in and out because other people live in that neighborhood. And the houses are pretty
Right.
close.
Sure.
So, so they don't want
Makes
that.
sense.
So, all right. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. We're not done with the comments here. Tina says, I just have to be faster than James. Sherry says, Queen Mary, you're making me laugh so hard. I was like that when I first moved here, but I've been here 11 years now, and I'll walk through the brush with shorts, tank top, and sandals on. Good for you. I listen. I grew up in Jersey. We had bears because we were up in the mountains. Like we had that. I get it, but and you learn what to do and what not to do. And we had water moccasins and copperheads, and puffer snakes. What are the ones with the cottonmouths? Is that what they are? I think that's what they're called. And even rattlers are in Jersey. So you learn. I get
Yep.
that. However, snakes that are like the black snakes. I'm still not a fan at all, and I hate when you find the skin and blah, but a boa constrictor can seriously eat your dog. We had a 98-pound dog that would be able to eat your dog. So no, if I want that crap, I will go live in Australia where literally every wildlife that they have, every animal, insect, whatever, is deadly. It's like Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
Remember that old show? Everything is deadly in Australia. If I want that, they got spiders the size of your head. No, 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 no. So, like I said,
We,
Florida's good, but there's aspects of Florida. She goes, oh yeah, there was some guy because it was alligator mating season or something, so they're a little crazy. So they put a thing out to the community. Some guy, there was an alligator when he opened it to walk out. There's an alligator. I'm like, oh nope, mm-mm,
no, sir. Nope.
no.
Nope.
It's like if I open the door,
No.
there's python. No, mm-mm, nope.
Yeah. No.
But if there's like a copperhead, okay, not happy, but I'm shutting the door. And I can
Right.
get away at that point, right? Like that you can get away from. So anyway, no. So not the same. Um,
Awesome.
Scott says something about alligators in the sewers. I think that's just an urban myth about alligators in the sewers. I don't think that's real.
I
Remember?
would walk down and find out in Florida, though.
No. No, 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 no,
I
no.
don't think that's it.
No. The guy who gets that job is the guy nobody likes. So.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So anyway,
All right, Wilbur, get down to them pipes.
Yeah. So that was my big my big revelation was like, wow, we were sitting in the pool. I was like, I could do this. Like it's so easy. It's such easy living. The houses aren't huge, and I don't know. Like I said, I could do that. All right. So very quickly, I have one story that I have to get to, and it's a woman from Texas, and she's gone viral on TikTok. Her name is Riley Jouet. Jouet. Here's what she wrote on TikTok. Karma is the nastiest bee I've ever met because 6 years ago, when I was 19, I ghosted the nicest guy who had the best intentions for me. So tell me why he's the person that's interviewing me for a job that I desperately need.
Oh, no.
She found out her interview the next day was with a guy that she ghosted for no reason whatsoever when she was 19 years old.
Oh, no. Hey, is that you? I thought your number was 6555554. Oh, it's 5555. Oh, so sorry.
No. Yeah. She just posted a 6-second clip, and she got over 8.4 million views in a week on this TikTok. She claims she and the unidentified man are now happily in other relationships. She admitted to previously ghosting him because he was, quote, obsessed with her and, quote, very intense. I made the video because I felt like a lot of people could relate to ghosting people as a teenager without thinking about the consequences of being immature and having poor communication skills. Yeah. And someone said to her, just make sure that you don't say one of your strengths is communication in the interview. Somebody else said gaslight. Awesome. Someone else said gaslight him. Just tell him it never happened. Well, it wasn't me. That didn't happen. Just gaslight him. Someone else said karma or a second chance. Someone said maybe not karma, but Cupid. Another declared plot of a rom-com. If he invites you to the company retreat this weekend to see how you fit in, but really so he can get to know you again, let us know. She wound up ultimately. She wound up declining the. She did get a job offer.
Oh.
She said he did offer me the barista position at the end of our interview. I ended up turning the offer down because I got offered a higher paying position somewhere else. He never responded to my message declining the offer, and as far as I'm aware, he hasn't seen the video. So, my hunch is
or he goes to her at that point.
Yeah, or he goes to her. So. Yeah. I mean, have you ever it's so much harder because we didn't have, nothing was online. Nothing was the internet. People, like if you wanted to get rid of a guy, like you just had to have that conversation because otherwise we just keep calling your house. My mother would be like, why don't you ever take this phone call? I'm like, my mother would be like, you got to call and talk to my father. Would just be like, here she is. Oh, right. Like, oh, well, my parents knew that you don't do things like that.
True. And not even that, by the way, back in the day, you used to be able to knock on somebody's door. It wasn't wrong to just stop by somebody's house at a reasonable hour, knock on the door and go, hey, is Mary here? Like, that's what you did.
Right.
Now that's pretty unconceited to just bang on people's doors. But, before the internet, you could bang on a door. There was only a couple ways to get a hold of people. You could show up at their work, you could show up at their house, knock on a door, or you could call them. Well, maybe a letter, but, that's it. You didn't have a lot of options.
So when we were kids, though, the other way to know if anybody was home is you always looked for the bikes in front of somebody's house. Like, so you knew, like, if your mother was driving by somewhere and you saw bikes in front of your friend's house, you're like, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so's there. And like, I didn't get invited, right? Like, that's how you knew because you could tell just by the bikes that were in front of somebody's house that what was going on. I think maybe we were a little bit more, I'm trying to think of the word is more social, more, I don't know, more communicative maybe because you couldn't just walk away from, you went out a couple times, you don't like each other. You had to just address it. You couldn't just not respond. There was just no getting out of it. You had to, sometimes you'd hear about women who would like go to the bathroom and not come back. Like, that's just mean. I could never do something like that. I never did anything like that because that's just not my DNA. But I was terrible at those conversations. I was terrible at them. Terrible. I'm like, you're really, because I never wanted to hurt anybody's feelings. But I was just like, you're really nice, but it's just terrible. I couldn't do it. So I get the appeal of ghosting. But the point of this also is that everything is forever, right? In this day and age. So in some ways we had it easier. Oh, James is gone. In some ways we had it easier. Oh, are you there? I don't think you can hear me. But in some ways we had it easier. In a lot of ways we had it easier because we had James. Yes, I now I can hear you saying hello.
I think
well, your face is frozen. Your face is frozen.
Am I not moving?
You're not moving, but it's a very intense look that you have on your face. And oh, there you are. Now you're moving. Okay, you're back. Up and you're gone again. Okay. So James has a bad connection. But so I think we learned a lot. I think we learned a lot of communication skills because you had to tackle those tough situations, which now when you ghost up, but what I was saying, that, she's older now and she's interviewing for a job. She goes, oh, when I was a teenager, but it was a lesson. She said, I learned I'm being held accountable. I could be held accountable for something that I did when I was 19 because everybody knows everything now. Everything's on the internet, right? So it's like the pictures you post online, they're forever. They don't go away. Anybody can see them. Scott says, it's not against the law to ghost anybody, Scott. It means you just don't respond when they reach out to you with a text or a phone call. That's not illegal. He said, I think he heard it's against the law. It's not against the law to ghost somebody at all. Let's quickly get one more comment in here. Hey, Jerry, my buddy Jerry says Gail goes to me. I went to school with Jerry and his now wife Gail. Gail goes to me in 8th grade by passing me a breakup note through one of her friends. That's hilarious. But at least she she gave you a breakup note, so she didn't ghost you. She gave you a breakup note saying, we're not going to do it, I'm breaking up with you. So that's not ghosting you. She actually did break up with you. Ghosting you is it's hard to ghost somebody you go to school with. Like, that's kind of hard. But you can ghost someone that you met on the internet because you just never talk to them anymore. You never see them anymore. You block them, you do whatever, and I'm done. And so there's no closure when you ghost. When you, as opposed to her passing you a breakup note in 8th grade, I still haven't let her live it down. Yeah, but she married you. She wound up marrying you later in life. You guys came back together. It's a great love story. If they ever want to share it someday, I think it's great. Hell, she moved to West Virginia and we didn't speak for 36 years. That's true, but I don't think she did that on purpose, Jerry. She sent you a breakup note. I'm on Team Gail with this one. It's like Ross and Rachel. So there you're back. So we were just talking about Shore Essentials, Jerry, who his now wife, he said ghosted him, but she sent him a breakup note through a friend in 8th grade. So she did technically break up with him. That's not ghosting, right? I don't think it is. And then he said he still doesn't let her live it down, but they got back together 36 years later after she moved to West Virginia. And now she has a sweet Southern accent, a little bit of a Southern accent. All right, we're out of here. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been wonderful. Glad to have you with us. Thank you. Don't forget, Thursday is the Mary Walter.
That's funny. I heard all that. That was pretty funny.
James, I have to.
Years.
the picture of you right now is you. I don't know if you can see me, but it's you going like this. And you look really scared, and it's frozen on that picture, and it's hilarious. I'm gonna take it down because you're gonna be. I'm gonna take that down, James, because that's terrible. Up, and he's back and forth. So anyway, Thursday is the Mary Walter Radio podcast. It is a political podcast. There is so much to talk about, so we're gonna do that same time, 7:15 p.m. Eastern. You watch on Getter and YouTube. The audio for all the podcasts will be up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Now, if you're looking for if you're looking for this podcast, you have to either put in Mary Walter or Life with Mary Walter on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. All right. The Thursday night podcast is Mary Walter Radio. And then Saturday, I will be on the Wendy Bell Show at 4:30. It re-airs 3:30 on Sunday and then 6 a.m. on Monday. So I'm doing that too. So now you're back. You're all in one piece. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Scott over there on Getter, thank you so much. And Sherry and Jerry and Tina and let's see who else. Ron and Pete and Bill. And if anybody knows what happened to Al, please tell him we miss him. And yes. I hope everything's okay. Maybe I'll reach out to him. Coming up, I'll reach out to Al, I think, and see how he's doing. So we will see you on Thursday then at 7:15 here and that will be on Mary Walter Radio. See you then. Have a great Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.